they actually can better understand about what they want. And that will come to the major choice. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% self-reflection for that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is 100%, I believe. I want you to take this away, June.
Okay. Okay. So I want to put this one because actually we're going to have another seminar to talk about the school ranking and also a real hidden colleges that are so great and nobody find out, or the doer college degrees. So this will be something we're going to host for this coming month. And if you're interested, you can just type 1 in the chat box, and we're going to host another one to talk about public colleges, private colleges, liberal art colleges, universities, and doer programs, and how we can find the real great colleges, not by the ranking. Okay, I want to introduce a little bit more about the ranking. So 20% of the school's ranking was based on graduation and the freshman retention rates. That's the confess, okay? So I have never met a single student who has said that, freshmen graduate and retention rates are the important factors in my course or college selection process. But that's where the ranking comes from. So we look at a little bit for the US college ranking. So that actually is trying to bring up a magazines, the sales revenue. That's how this starts. So if you look at the number, undergrad academic reputation only takes 22.5%. And graduation freshman retention rate, 20%. Faculty resources, 20%. Student selectivity, only 15%. Financial resources, 10%. Graduation rate performance, 7.5%. Alumni giving, 5%. That's it. Okay. So now I want everybody to choose major, do not based on the US news. And then you're probably going to ask, like, where should I find it? So actually, there are so many free resources you can look for, like Unigo, they're like Campus Reel. They have some like, I think there's like a college data, collegedata.com that also can provide you so many college information. And another way, go to visit the college. So the college tour, actually, we strongly recommend. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're just going to go over a few scenarios because we thought it would be fun if we kind of gave you these hypothetical scenarios that we have actually encountered before, right? So the first one is, how do I choose a major when this student has no motivation or passion for anything, right? We've all worked with this student. We all know this student. The student may even be very, very talented, but they just don't care about anything, it seems, right? Do you want to do this? I don't know, right? Do you want to study this? I don't know, no, right? Do you want to do this? Sure, does not do that, right? So it is challenging, right? So from a counseling perspective, I'm still trying to work on this because it is very difficult sometimes to kind of like grow that motivation, to grow the passion that's not already there. And I think one of the things I thought about is just giving them more opportunities to hopefully that one of those opportunities will eventually sprout something, right? They're going to do this activity, participate in this, and hopefully find something that they genuinely like, right? And also to kind of communicate with them about like, okay, what's the reason for this lack of motivation? Is it that you truly have no motivation, or is there something else for the reason, right?
I feel like right now the traditional school is like really hard to grow a kids in the healthy way. For example, I just met a student with 7 APs. So every single day dealing with homework, preparing for the test, finals, and also the coming AP seasons, right? And how can they find more time? How can they enjoy when they don't enjoy the school, when they don't really enjoy the everyday life? There is no strength or energy to explore more. I think that's part of the reason the motivation sometimes go down. But if you talk to like, oh, let's just go volunteer abroad. Let's just go Costa Rica. Let's go South Africa. Let's go ski. The ski week is coming. They totally become a different person. They're so excited, So I feel like maybe we should talk about this like in another time, we really want them to put into fittest school, not the best school, especially for the high school. Yeah, choose the high school wisely, choose the elementary school. I mean, that's still okay because they're young, but a high school is very important. Don't squeeze into the top high school just because you feel like that's better, but actually sometimes it's worse. Yeah. So
Make
my
sure it's
students transferred from, my students like got in the first year for Hacker and then transfer somewhere. I don't want to target Hacker. I don't want to attack Hacker. Hacker is great. Hacker is great. But my students transferred from Hacker to a public school turned out to be very well. The result is very well. Yeah.
Mhm. You know, this is a matter of fit. We all have great students at Harker, by the way. We're not like, targeting Harker for that. I think it's a great school for certain students, right? So summer, like June mentioned, is a great time to explore more, right? Volunteer abroad, summer programs, etc. Okay, scenario 2. The student has a passion for a subject, but the parents disagree. Sometimes for me, this subject is art, because there are some students who are very artistically talented, who have a passion for art. And then the parents are, of course, you starving artist, you cannot, feed yourself with art, right? So then I think for that, it requires communication and compromise, right? I think like, yes, if you as a student are very immature and you just say, oh, I just like art, I just want to sketch all the time. Of course, as a parent, I would still be concerned, right? But if maybe the student is able to work with a counselor and a parent to discuss like, hey, here are some careers in art that are not bad, right? For instance, marketing, product design, visual arts, even architecture is within the arts. I think that's more productive than just, you're never studying this, right? Or I'm never going to listen to you or your suggestions as well. June, would you agree?
I totally agree. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why, because of that, I want to create a program just to combine entrepreneurship and art together. I want them to understand like art actually can be transferred into sort of like income for students to get more accomplishment. And that is something that we are, check us out over the summer. You will see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Scenario 3. The parents want the student to study X major, but the student disagrees even though they have no interest in another major. And I think for some parents, this is most frustrating because it's like you have an idea for your kid. And it'd be okay if the kid had their own idea, right? You could at least communicate, but it just feels like the kid doesn't care, right? Or has no interest in anything, right? So then you like try to push the kid, right? And it feels like the more you push, the more they disagree. So I think this is tough. This is sometimes where I think maybe an outside counselor would help the most. But again, with all these situations, I think it requires communication the most, right? Because I find sometimes when you try to force the kid into the X path, sometimes they're most resistant, right? So there has to be another approach. What do you think, June?
Yeah, they just want to say no, whatever you want to say. So you really want to make the decision to come from their own mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So scenario 4, which we have both encountered, is the student discovers G12 that he or she is interested in a major, but they have no activities or classes related to this major. So it's like they want to study bioengineering, but they never taken physics. We never participate in robotics, right?
Or they want to study finance, but all their activities are music.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty common.
Yeah. Or something like that. Right. So that's just, you need to be realistic and select one at that point that matches your profile for that. The student wants to study X major, but they have no talent in the major or have poor grades in all the related classes. What do we do for this, June?
There's no way because you want to study CS and your CS is like, you don't have APCS and you didn't do anything. And your math is like score still struggle with B. So that means like you can't survive, right? So I really want everybody to understand like a college, they're not trying to train you or like high school. So basically they have to choose someone who's ready because for college that those people, they really worry about, like retention rate. They really worry about if they can finish, really worry about the students like mental health, the stress level. That's what they focus on. They don't want to bring your kids into a college that they know he or she gonna suffer. I think that's the part of the reason we don't really, you know, you don't really want to really try the part that you're not good at. Yeah. So we want to squeeze into the Q&A. Let's just talk about a Q&A. So I'm going to ask questions, and in the chat box, somebody asked, is computer science easy to transfer from community college to university? I mean, you want to, let's just take turns, right?
I mean, I think for this one, it depends what university. It's probably not going to be MIT, right? For that. I mean, look, I do know someone who transferred from San Jose State to Georgia Tech for aerospace engineering. So it's possible, right? But I think computer science, again, is one of those really, really hot majors. It's possible, but it's probably going to be very, very difficult at those top colleges. Almost impossible, right? Would you agree, June?
Yes. And, but let's say why you want to transfer from community college to university. Why don't you, I mean, if that's the case, why don't you have the dual enroll for community college when you're in high school? Because that shows like you're more ready for colleges, right? So we do have students who got into MIT, Princeton, Brown, like Cornell for the CS major, they actually dual enroll for the community college when they're in high school. So that shows like their academic like really strong, right? Another question, are UIUC CS plus X majors easier to be admitted to? Would employment placement be promising for these majors such as CS plus advertising?
I don't think so. One CS is very competitive at UIUC. Usually when you try to dual major, you would want to show talent in both. I don't think it would be easier. It would still be very competitive since CS within itself is very competitive. I don't know. Maybe?
Yes. It's not easier, but it's actually, okay. So for some students who has another talent to show, they can win the position, right? But if you want to have like the dual major, you have to accept it into both major. I want to give you one example. Like this year, we have a student who got almost accepted to CMU and also Dartmouth because she's applying for the music and plus major. So the music professor really like her, but they have to really wait for CS to see if they admit her. If they admit her, and then that's like a final offer. If only part of it is accepted, that's not final offer. So you have to be talented, like Amy said, in both. So I would say CS plus X major, that's like you have to be good in both. But a good part is like before, if you apply for a single major, right? So people are not able to, you're not able to stand out. But if you have like extra talent, you are able to accept it by both major. I feel like that's actually your double strength, right? You can show, you can easily stand out. So it depends on the situation. Yeah. So next question, lots of students apply to College of Letter and Science for a chance to study CS on sophomore year when they are able to declare the major. Would you recommend this approach or directly apply to CS major in College of Engineering?
Depends on if you value the college or the major, right? Because there is a chance you are not going to be admitted to CS sophomore year. But if you're okay not being admitted to CS sophomore year, but you want to be at that college, then yes, right? But if you want to be CS, 100% what you care about is CS, you may not want to take that risk, right?
The thing is like the CS major is just become too hot. Like last year, I went to the conference with the admission people from UIUC and Purdue, and that's two schools usually CS students take it as a safety option, right? And they just say like, don't even think about a transfer because everything is full. There's no space. Like when a freshman, they already get a full. There's no way for you to transfer in, right? After first year. So that's what they coming from. They ask us to tell all the students, don't even think about it. I think we should invite them to come back to talk to our parents again, right? So they will believe what they say. Yeah, okay. I think that's a good idea this year. Okay. So next question. Would you recommend doing self-study of AP even though the classes are being offered at high school and taking AP tests in freshman, sophomore years, or taking the AP classes at high school, even if you can only take them in junior, senior years?
I think this is a very specific question that really depends on why you can't take that AP class junior year, right? This is a more course selection, course planning question.
Yeah, but most of the school, they don't allow the students to take AP because they don't want them to suffer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
So
could-
I would say if, okay, let's just give you two scenario. Okay.
Mhm.
One, I had a student who studied AP Econ by himself. And then, so he took AP Econ in a freshman. So on the junior year, they are actually offered AP Econ. And he asked me, should I take the AP Econ? And I say, no, because you already took the AP Econ, the AP test, right? But he said, if I take the AP test, then I took the AP Econ again. I'm effortless and I can get a higher GPA. But then how are you going to report your transcript, right? So either you're going to report you have the AP Econ that year, or you're going to report you only take the AP Econ test. If you report both, that's super weird. Why you take the AP test 1 year before and then you take the AP classes, right? And some school, they don't really allow you to take it if you already take the AP test. So I would say just to check the students' like academic profile, and you have to really think about it in the 4 year, like in the long term run, not like try to squeeze everything up before. And one more question: the students won't have time to do anything else? So all the high school gonna be only APs? Yeah, that's my question. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing that with some of my counseling students because they're taking 5 AP sophomore year. They don't have time for activities because of that. So you have to think, okay, is it worth it? Right. for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
My child really loves playing chess. What kind of extracurricular activities can you recommend? There are chess clubs and chess tournaments. That's probably the first place to go, right, for that. Between starting a club in school and starting club in a nonprofit, which one is better? Well, June has quite a bit experience in nonprofits for that one. I don't think it's comparative. It's more just which one the student is more interested in and is therefore more likely to do a good job at. Maybe.
Exactly. I agree with you. It's not about what they founded or what it started. It's about how much they did.
Yeah, because actually, colleges are not stupid. They will know from either your essays or, activity description what the investment was for the founding.
Yes.
It
And
will
I
be
never
apparent.
see, yeah, I never see any kids is able to talk like really big and
Mhm.
did a small thing. I never see anyone like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's sort of like tricky because start is not important. Why you start is important. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Everybody
Why
say like,
you
let's
start?
start a nonprofit. Let's start a club. But why? If you're not able to answer that question, if you're started for the sake of application, don't do it. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Volunteering without attaching to a nonprofit normally doesn't earn you volunteer hours, but if you actually did it, can you still list it as one of the activities on a college application? Yes, you can list all your volunteering on a college application. Someone just typed one. I don't understand why.
Oh, why it's like we're going to talk about the private college versus the public college and the liberal art college with universities and the dual programs, and then I say if you're grade type 1, I think many people type 1. Yeah.
I see. Okay. I wonder what will be related major for student loves robotics as extracurricular. Probably, engineering, physics. It also like robotics, there's the programming component, there's also the fabrication component. Maybe ask your student which one they like more. Is it like the hands-on fabrication or is it like the CAD programming? So it could be CS, engineering, etc. for that
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
Mhm. My kid is interested in music. Is it hard to pursue a dual major with one being music, the other being business or accounting?
Oh, it's not hard. I think it's really good. And actually Stanford, Princeton, they all love dual major. CMU, they all love dual major students. And especially in the music. Yeah.
Mhm.
I got a student's piano this year who got into all of them. So I think this is something you can, depends on how strong you are. And my
Mhm.
students was invited to the college to giving audition. So they really invite you to go perform. And after they perform, the professor really love her performance. And that's how they approach her. Yeah. So I
Mhm.
think that's a great way. Could
Yeah.
you comment studying engineering in Harvard, Yale, Princeton, comparing to Georgia Tech, University of Michigan?
Um, What do you mean, like comparatively? Like, what do you mean? Can I comment? They're
that
both top schools.
I think that they all got accepted, right? Depends on what you want. Yeah. You want
Oh,
to,
I see.
I think if they congratulations, if you all got accepted in Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Georgia Tech, University of Michigan, if you all got all accepted, and now it's time for you to choose which one to choose, right? I think that's the question.
I think that's a wonderful conundrum to have. I visit, right? Also see if they try to court you with a scholarship. I think that as well. My son is interested in biomedical area. He has volunteered in hospital, but he has B's in chemistry and math. He also has A in bio, 5 in AP math. What major do I recommend? That's really not enough information for me to recommend him a major, right? That's I would need his full activity list and transcript before we could recommend a major.
Yeah, we recommend a major based on students' interest, passion, and a transcript, activity list, and also the future plan. And plus, we also do like the value assessment, and we also have like a lot of like self-check questionnaires. And after they fill out everything, we understand better, and then we can give like recommendations. Yeah. Is data science considered a popular major?
I think it's becoming more popular, but I actually don't think, so for some schools, I don't think they offer data science as a major. Right, so I think it depends that way. June, you'll have to read that one for this one.
Okay. 请问9年级目前学校3个 season 的运动都很喜欢，做得不错，是继续3个不同运动，还是要10年级做精简呢？ Oh, that's like students did a lot of activity, 3 sports. They like them all. They want to say if they want to cut it or they want to continue. I would say if you're not going for like a athlete recruitment for the college, you really have to save enough time, right? So I'm really interested in the students' schedule. What does daily schedule looks like? And keeping 3 different sports like intensively, that's really hard. So you probably want to squeeze some time for academic or other interest. Yeah. Hands-on. Okay, I'm interested in the CS, but my math pathway restrict me to advance my math classes at school due to my course selection mistake at the beginning of the high school. So instead of AP Cal in the 11th grade, which is the fastest track, I have to wait and to take in the 12th grade. Would that significantly disgrace my chance to be admitted to CS? Shall I explain the situation on the application, Amy?
Okay, first thing, you need to go, okay, I think AP Calc for 12th grade is not the end of the world. But if you want to take advanced math courses right now, you have opportunities. You have community colleges, right? If that matters a lot to you, your school is not the only place that offers that, right? The other thing is, I will not explain that I made a mistake on my course selection that just reflects poorly on you, right? Instead, make the best of the situation right now. I think if you really want to take the advanced math courses, you probably have the opportunity. But I don't think it's the end of the world if you take AP Calculus in 12th grade. What would you say, June?
Yeah, I think you don't really need to worry about it because some school, they don't even offer AP math.
That one. Yeah. But if you want to, you have opportunities. Take advantage of them.
Yeah,
Right.
you really have to self-study more in order to catch up in the college. Is acting an okay major if my child would like to go to the dental school?
Okay, so I can, dental school, you don't have to, it's like pre-med, medical school, right? You can major in anything and attend these schools, but you have a core classes that you need to take, like biology, organic chemistry, You could still major in music and still take those classes. So yes, you can, but your acting child still needs to take biology, chemistry, all the, dental school requirements if they apply.
My son interested in both music and a biomedical area. He has EC in both area. What major should apply, music or biomedical? I think we answered the question. You can either apply music plus major, which is like a dual major, music and a biomedical, or you can just choose one, depends on which one he likes more or he want to pursue in the next step. Yeah. So last question, and we're going to wrap up. I want to major in the game design or game development. Should I take more art classes or focus on CS classes and math? I think for this question, you have to do both, because for the game design, you need an art portfolio, which I think next Thursday, we're going to have an art portfolio seminar to talk about how to create art portfolio, when you should start it, and what other colleges without art major still request for the portfolio. I think one of them is like a game design and architecture major. So you need to do both. So if you want to go for game design, and also you have to consider this game design will enter the CS department or enter the fine art department, right? So it's more like a visual art design or like a really game design. So that's like a difference. You probably want to look into that.
Exactly.
And the last question, a lot of good universities don't offer business major for undergrad, but almost all have econ major. If my kids is not very interested in maths, accounting, blah, 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 but it likes speech and debate, history, writing, blah, 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 do you think she should apply for business school only or try not to study econ, although the university is really good? Okay, that's a very specific question. So what do you think, Amy?
I feel as if this person was admitted to a university for econ, and that's why this question is being posed. Right. So again, or I'm not sure, right?
I think you can try.
Everything you've listed has nothing to do with economics, though. Speech and debate, history, writing, art. That's not economics.
And more towards like political science for me, or communication.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would want more information, but everything you've listed there is not related to an economics major. They also have nothing related to business from what you've told me. So that's another thing. Okay.
Okay, we have to wrap up.
Oh, okay, we can wrap up. Last question. Okay. Oh,
So
which
there's a
question?
Yeah, the kid love math, science, and music.
Mhm.
Doesn't want to learn like engineer or basics, STEM, math, computer science, and what kind of
Okay.
major?
So all the what majors we suggest, we need a transcript, an activity list, an actual consultation of your student to figure out their interests. We cannot tell you based on this right now, although that does seem like a really wonderful amount of interest. What do you think, June?
Yeah, I think if you are interested, you can always like email us, and for the detailed information, maybe we can give you more suggestions. But overall, I feel like as long as you can just try to learn and try to stay tuned, and you will sort out. And the most important thing, don't twist the interest. Try to follow the direction, because the kids are the leaders. They lead the future, and we follow them to support them. I think that's the core.
They'll surprise you. One of my students just came up to me and said, I want to be a pediatrician out of nowhere. Right? Came to that conclusion by herself. So you never know.
Yes.
For that. All right. We're going to be wrapping up the seminar here. I think if you have any further questions, please visit our website, as well as contact info@7edu for a consultation. Thank you so much for your time. Please tune in for our next webinar/seminars. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, June.
night,
Bye-bye.
Bye.